Hey everyone, Don here with Paleo Tracks. Today I'm out in the beautiful Rocky Mountains once again, just doing a little snowshoeing. And out on my adventures, I found this nice little fire ring here and thought it'd be a perfect spot to cook up one of my favorite backcountry treats, ash cakes. And today I'm going to show you how I go about making them. So stick around, much to see. I know you'll enjoy. Alright, first things first, what are ash cakes? Ash cakes in the most simplest form are whole wheat flour, a little bit of salt, mixed with water until you get a nice little doughy consistency. And it's flattened out. It's thrown on some ashes, cooked on one side for a minute or two, flip it over, cook it on the next side for a minute or two. Boom, ash cake. All right, so here we go. What I brought with me is 1 jar of whole wheat flour. Inside here, I added some salt. It's really it's the preference of the person. You can add some salt or you cannot. I've done it both ways, but this one has a little mixture of salt on the inside, just in a jar. This is going to be the vessel that I'm going to use to add my flour, add my water, mix it up until it's in that nice doughy form, and throw it on the coals. All right, first things first, you got to add some flour. I don't have any specific, pinches or dabs. I don't have any real, way of measuring it out. So I just kind of do it by sight. I know this goes a long way. So when you add a whole bunch of flour, you're gonna have to add a ton of water. So I just kind of empty some flour in. So about that much right there. You can kind of see. It's not too much. All right, because you can always add more throughout this process. Top back on. Add a little bit of water. Now the water is the key, because if you add too much water, it's going to be real soupy. So it's always good to kind of have a less is more sort of approach. So you pour it in, mix it in. Just a dab. Literally, you saw that was like next to nothing. You can see that this is just sitting right on the top. Start mixing with your fingers. You'll figure out your little mix. If you've never made ash cakes before, I recommend you make them at home once or twice and kind of just get the feel for it. You can use a stick to mix it up, and see, we'll kind of get into this doughy like this. We're not quite there. It's a little too watery, but I'm going to keep mixing. All right, it's coming along. See how it's starting to form? You just keep mixing. Now, if you find that it gets a little too soupy, add a little bit more flour. Like I said, I don't have any specific ways of measuring out, and I never really just dash. Yep. But one thing you don't want it is to be wet. Okay, this is kind of a bad example. I'm not quite there yet, but see how it's kind of more oatmeal-y and porridge-like. Don't want it like that. Just keep adding flour. There we go. All right. We are just about ready. So, a couple things you can do to really flavor up your whole wheats is clearly you can add some salt. But I know some folks that like to add a little garlic salt, so your ash cake has a little bit of a garlicky bread sort of taste. People add bouillon cubes. They'll mash them up and mix them in there, and it gives kind of like a different kind of meaty, earthy sort of flavor. It's really up to you. You can add as many flavors as you want. Some people like them Cajun style. They add a little Old Bay, or it's up to you, really. I mean, I can't say it enough. I just like to add a little salt. That's pretty much it. All right, right now I'm looking good. This is the consistency. I want to be able to open this guy up and start flattening them out. That's how I want my ash cakes to work. I don't want them to be wet. I want to be able to hold them and then not stick to my hands. If they're sticking to my hands, you can add a little bit more flour. You can't open it up flat like this. If you got a residual flour in the bottom of your vessel, kind of mix it in there. Fold it up again. Just kind of keep working it. All right, so that's the guy right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into maybe 3 pieces. Give you a couple different ways you can go about cooking this guy up. All right, so first things first, once you got your piece out, the flatter you can make it, and you can make them any size, the flatter you can make it, the quicker it's going to cook. All right, there's another one. All right, there we go. That last little bit of flour off the bottom. So, flatten them out, just like that. So, 3 little ash cakes, and I will kind of readdress these once I'm getting ready to go. 3 ash cakes. Now, the key for the ash cakes is very, very simple. You can't be burning them on a fire. What you need is the ash. Now, what do I mean by ash cakes is if you have your fire and it's kind of died down, and this one is getting ready to, you don't want to be cooking these on red hot coals because all it'll do is just burn it. So what you're looking to do is get those coals down to that white coloring. You don't want them gray. Gray means they're not warm enough. Once they're in that white coloring, that's where you're going to throw your ash cake right on top of the ashes. So let's say though, you're waiting for your fire to burn down. Let's say the weather's not the best, so you don't really want to lose all that heat. One thing you can do is you can take a Y stick like this, give it a real simple shape, just kind of take off some of that bark so you're not eating it. You can actually just kind of roast it over the fire. Same thing, it's just heat. There's no yeast or anything in this, so it doesn't need to rise. Right there. All right. And then take your cake and just rest it on. Give it a simple, real gentle roasting, if you will. Prop this up. Now it's coming along nicely. All right, this is almost perfect. Kind of crunchy and hard on the outside, a little bit soft in the middle. I'm gonna let this one just kind of sit and hang. I'm almost close to where I need to be in these ashes down here, and I think we'll be good to go. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this cake right here. I'm going to kind of put it right here. The coals aren't quite where I would like them. I want them a little bit more white and ashy, but I'm just going to put it right down on top, just like that. And then you just kind of watch it. Make sure it doesn't overburn. If you throw them down in the coals or even sometimes in the ash, you'll get some really dark spots on it. It's not gonna hurt you. You can kind of watch this other side here, and as it starts to harden up, you know the underbelly side's getting just as firm. Oh, that's almost perfect. There we go. Keep getting this guy. That one's looking good. Oh, perfect. It's coming along nicely. Oh, that one's looking good. Almost there. Oh, it's almost there. Ooh, come here. Ouch. That guy. That one's looking good. Now, I still got one more cake, but I'm going to show you my most favorite way of cooking that one. All right. Perfect. Look at that one. Yummy, yummy. Look at that one. Just as good. You can kind of see the difference between the two now. This one was on the fire. This one was on a Y steak. They're both just like little pieces of bread. Almost like, I like to call it naan that you might get in the Middle East somewhere. Great little snacks. Now, what I like to do with them is I like to pull out my secret ingredient, which is rendered duck fat. Take a little duck fat. Just put it right on. Just like this. Oh, so good. Just kind of melts away. Mmm. Mmm. So good. Oh, man. A little bit more. Not too much. Perfect. So good. The duck fat, I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. If you don't have, like, if you remember deer fat or bear fat will work, but duck fat's one of my favorites, especially on ash cakes. But, oh God, so good. Oh my God, there's nothing like this. This is like having like a buttery piece of toast. You can't go wrong. Now, I think my wife worked, so I might have some more. One of my favorite ways of doing ash cakes is to actually fry them. So you can take your vessel, or you can take the lid sometimes. The lid works really, really nice. And you take a little bit of your fat, a little bit more than normal. All right. Throw it right on the inside. Depends how much you got. I like to juice it up in there. All right. It's all going to melt. Now what this allows you to do is also keep your fire going. All right, so I'm going to add a couple more of these sticks in here. I don't want to lose my flame. But I'm going to throw this guy right up on top. All right, so I'm going to let that duck fat kind of reduce down a little bit, get nice and warm, and then I will show you exactly how you go about adding your ash cake. All right, I've got my fat melted on the inside. It's looking pretty good. It's crackling. It's giving a few little pops. I don't have a complete blaze going, Chloe, but those coals are hot enough to melt that fat. And then I'm just going to take my ash cake and just drop them on in. It's going to start frying itself up. Just kind of move that fat all around it, just like that. You cannot go wrong with an ash cake, which is really turning into a fat cake. It's delicious, I'm telling you. All right, this guy is just about done. It is hot grease, you gotta be careful. Now, if you look at this, this one definitely comes out a little bit more golden brown. The fat's already kind of infused all the way through. You don't let it get much darker than that right there, but this is by far. Puts a crust all the way around the outside. Still got a very light doughy center. It's not even doughy. It's just the flour, but absolutely delicious. Oh, it's so good. So good. I love making them. I'm gonna try more. That's pretty much it for ash cakes. I put my hat back on, it's getting a little cold, but yeah, you can see they're real simple to make. Just add some whole wheat flour, some salt. Salt is really to your taste. I usually go with a little bit less, I guess, than most people. I don't add too much salt, but throw it in a jar, throw it in a plastic bag, mix it up, shake it up, add a little water when you're ready to create your ash cakes. And yeah, there's a couple different ways you can cook it. Again, you use that little Y fork right over the top of the fire. You wait for your fire to reduce until you get those nice white sort of ashes. Nothing too red hot golden, nothing too gray, because then there's no heat. And just throw them right on there. Give them a few turns. Just kind of visually inspect it, and if it's crunchy and it's how you ever want it, hey, right on, go for it. And then my most favorite way is just throwing them in a little bit of duck fat or deer fat and frying them up and having yourself a good little treat. So yeah, that's ash cakes in a nutshell. It's a way, not necessarily the way. I hope you enjoyed. I might make myself a couple more because they're absolutely delicious. And that's it. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the bush.